The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
And this is the Magic Mike Show, episode 412. Mr. Somich.
Keeneland, huzzah!
Oh boy, just like Michael Ellison says in the chat, this Keeneland card is going to be off the chain. Mike's falling out of his chair. He's so excited about it.
I'm dodging bad favorites like it's my business.
You know, we returned to Keeneland, and it's only fitting that possibly the best turf race of the entire year up to this point, the Maker's Mark Mile, we're getting that version in the fall, and it might be the best turf race we've seen. Definitely the best turf race we've seen since then, and we get to cover that at the end of this entire graded stakes sequence. I'm so happy Keeneland did this. It's not the late pick 5. It's races 6 through 10. But, Mike, it's all graded stakes races. It's what we care about because the Breeders' Cup, 4 weeks away.
Yeah, you actually chose this sequence when you found out it was the all graded stakes because you did not want to handicap the last race, which is 7 furlongs for
Also
me.
True. Screw that race.
We would have been doing the turf triple, which, hey, that would have been fun too. This is a great card coming up on Saturday from Keeneland. This is one of the fun things. Like, it's why everyone loves Saratoga, why everyone loves Delmar. You have graded stakes on top of each other, great horses. And this is a really unique sequence because you got turf sprinters. You got two-year-old males. You got the grade 1 turf mile. You got a bunch of different divisions here, all banging heads on one day of racing.
It's going to be a lot of fun. 3 of these are official when you're in Breeders' Cup preps, but you could easily see horses exiting the other 2 races and staying for the Breeders' Cup as well, even though they don't have that official tag on this. Mike, let's not waste any time, buddy. Let's get into it. We got a lot of races to cover, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Riders up!
Just like always.
All right, Mike, first leg of the All-Stakes Pick 5 at Keeneland on Saturday, October 8th. Race 6 is the Grade 2 Woodford Stakes. You got 9 males, 3 and up, going 5.5 furlongs on the turf. You're defending champion of this race. And the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint, Golden Pal is here. Did you realize he's never lost on American turf? He's 7 for 7 on U.S. grass. He's 4 to 5 to repeat here. Did you use him and did you single him?
That's kind of a tricky stat you just reeled off. You know why? Because he lost on American dirt at Gulfstream in his first start. He ran second. I like how you did that. He's not undefeated in the U.S. Nice work. Good work, Magic. I like it. Yeah, he doesn't like to lose here. So I'm going to go ahead and single him. I'm not going to get creative here. I'm not going to get crazy. I am excited to see how many people tell me how bad that last race from Golden Pal was so I can laugh at them because Golden Pal didn't try. They were trying to teach that horse how to rate. And everyone comes like, oh, Golden Pal, you got to fade him next time out. Fade him in the Breeders' Cup. Good luck. Good luck. I'll go ahead and single in both spots. I'll go ahead and not waste any money on these bad bullets.
That was a pretty good David Aragona impression. I appreciated that one. I understand it. I understand singling him here. I thought about doing that. My one concern is that he's now had 2 starts in a row where the start has been the issue. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm back. Appreciate it. I'm back. Thank you.
I feel like I should leave for a while so I can get all these welcome backs. I feel left out here.
Thanks to you and Aaron for covering for me on the Monday too, by the way. Listen, the last 2 starts he had, the first one in NASCAR, that was pretty much Irad's fault. The Troy, it wasn't. And I have the head on here. It's not going to be great if you're, whoops, boy, I hate when that auto starts like that. He loses his footing out of the gate. He's going to be post 5. He loses his footing out of the gate. Iraq gives him 5 hard pumps to try and get him into it. By that point, he's already been crossed over by True Valor to his outside and Karatari to his inside. They've beaten him to the punch, and so he has to sit back a little bit. It's not so much that they went, we're going to immediately pull back. It's, well, this is kind of the situation we're in. And the situation he's in now, he's got Artemis City Limits, who I would argue is a much better turf sprinter than True Valor is. No shot against True Valor, but Artemis City Limits, much better, also drawn outside. And I trust him a lot more than I trust True Valor, that if Golden Pal has another break, like we're going to see here, where he stumbles, loses his footing, and then goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and is not in contention, I think Artemis City Limits then becomes lone speed, and he's too tough for Golden Pal to catch. So I went 4-7 here based on the fact that I've now seen twice that the 2 races in a row, Golden Pal has had issues getting out of the gate.
Okay, that's not fair. I mean, He didn't have issues getting out of the gate overseas. Irad forgot to get his feet in the freaking stirrups, okay?
Who's in the saddle now? When Rosario does something stupid, you are the first one to say, listen, the horse lost because of Joel doing something stupid like that.
Right. I then will not say the next time that the horse can't break out of the gate because Joel did something stupid. I will say Joel did something stupid, okay? And that's the first time that horse that is the first time Golden Palace stumbled ever in his career out of the gate. I mean, how about you pull up the time when he was 2 lengths ahead of everybody by the palm tree in the Breeders' Cup Sprint, and then tell
That's
me
the other thing. If he breaks cleanly, it's over. It's just like the Breeders' Cup Turf Sprint. Yeah.
But I agree with you. I like Artemis City Limits is my second pick in here. So if I did spread a little around, I would look at Artemis City Limits as a logical horse. They're clearly the 2 speed horses. I'm interested to see what Artemis City Limits tries to do. Like, if Golden Pal breaks like Golden Pal usually breaks, which is way faster than anyone ever breaks in the world, then does Artemis City Limits try and press? Does he sit off? Can he even press if he wants to? Like, we don't know. But Artemis City Limits has run very, very well in the last few races. So I get it. I just like, I love trying to beat bad favorites. I don't love trying to beat Golden Pal. I've learned my lesson. I'm going to go ahead and single. I'm going to move along. I'm going to play $1 ticket. I'm going to single 2 horses that I don't think can get beat. And then we're going to get a little kooky in the other races.
I haven't learned my lesson enough times yet. Apparently, that's what. A horse that if Golden Pal wasn't in here, someone I'm really interested in is the 9 Catamosto. I find it very interesting. This horse is eligible for a first level allowance, and the first time they bring him over to America, they throw him right into a turf sprint stakes at Saratoga. It's Saratoga. There's $1.5 million allowances he could have qualified for and done just fine. He runs well behind Big Invasion, who at the time was the best turf sprinter for 3-year-olds, and now he shows up here. Again, I don't think he's got a shot now of Golden Pal unless the horse literally falls over, but he is interesting because of how aggressive they're being. I did find out the Cassie stats. I was like, oh, first time with Cassie when he goes straight into his stakes. 1 for 35. It's a 0 for 20 in a graded stakes. So maybe watch him for the future.
Yeah, I would love to know in the money stats because I Catamusto, like, again, we talk about how do you make money on these races. I'm probably going to play Golden Pal, and I'm going to put Bad Beat Brian in there, 15-1. This horse has run well since the claim to back for the Vandenberg barn. She's done a very good job turning this horse around at 5. If you see another improvement, then I think that makes sense underneath. I think Golden Pal wins the race, but if you can go like 279 underneath and play a $5 super, and it costs you $30 to play 4 over 279, something like that. You can make a little bit of money on this race, even with Golden Pal winning.
He's 3 for 20 when he does it into a graded stakes in the money. It's 15%. I don't know.
That's better than 0 for 20.
That's definitely better than 0 for 20. That's for sure. All right. Yeah, this is a horse I'll watch for next time, but we'll move on. Second leg of the All Stakes, pick 5 at Keeneland on Saturday, October 8th. Race 7, the TCA Stakes, grade 2, 6 furlong dirt sprint for 9 fillies and mares, 3 and up. A Breeders' Cup winning, and you're in for the filly and mare sprint. It's a division famous for its upsets. That's not why I didn't use the top 2 betting choices in this race. It just happened to be that way. Where'd you go on top?
On top, I went to the 2-horse Palm Cottage here. Look, this horse is kind of transformed since it went from the Brad Cox barn to the Paulo Lobo barn. Got 6 months off and just came back a different animal. Looked awesome at Ellis Park. Then went to Saratoga and actually validated that Ellis race, running very well there, getting a 97 buyer. Now we get 3rd off the layoff for this 4-year-old who's improving. Lobo does well in these graded stakes. He's 14% with a $2.48 ROI. Pratt picks up the mount. I like that. And this is one of those things where this is a $575,000 daughter of American Pharoah. They spent a lot of money on this horse and just didn't kind of come around in the Brad Cox barn. Now it's paying off here in the Lobo barn. If we can improve off that last race, and this is a logical improvement spot, 3rd off the layoff, 3rd off a long layoff, later in your 4-year-old season, Lobo can take a step forward here with Palm Cottage. I think the 2 is awfully dangerous.
It's interesting with the Palm Cottage, the last race beat a Boston Post Road, which is a high-priced Chad Brown horse. And Chad Brown had been throwing a lot of shade at OXO Equine over the spring and summer. So there was a little bit of, if I remember right, there's a little bit of Twitter shade thrown back from the OXO Equine people for winning that race.
That's the kind of Twitter beef we need. I like it when it's Chad Brown in an ownership group. That's fun.
Chad Brown versus Shug. That was good because Shug was surprisingly really good on the mic. It's like, oh shit, the old man can cut the promo. I didn't use Palm Cottage. My worry, buyers are a little inflated and I don't like what has happened with the horses that she faced since then. A lot of them regressed from their buyers. Their next performances weren't good. Only one horse from the race 2 back even hit the board, and it was the last place horse and did it in this starter allowance race. So I don't like what the horse is beaten here. To me, there's a bunch of speed. I was looking for horses coming from off the pace. If you listen to the show long enough, you remember Mike and I covered this race last year. Mike, do you remember who my top pick in this race was last year? It was the number 3. It was the number 3 Club Car. She's my top pick again this year.
Did she win last year?
She didn't, and it broke my heart because she missed by a neck to Bell's the 1.
Oh, my girl. Where's my girl?
Yeah, and I was like, I think you had singled Bell's the 1, and I had singled Club Car, something like we were going head to head with that. And we both wanted them to go off to the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint. And we were like, oh, they're going to be so great. And then they both bitched out. The race ends up having like 5 horses and CC wins. And meanwhile, these two went and lost a ungraded stakes worth a $300,000 purse. Really stupid, really stupid. However, here's what I love about this. Irad Ortiz Jr. is picking up the mount on a closer, a horse that loves to finish second. Boy, does she love to finish second, especially at Keeneland, but she has won over this distance before. Irad, I'm hoping, is the difference maker. I really love Club Car at Keeneland. Let's get her in and get her into the damn Filly Mare Sprint. Don't be chicken shit this time, Ben Colebrook.
This is literally a what is she? This is a 6-year-old that needs to improve 10% over her career best number to be able to competitive.
She almost won this race last year. I don't see this race really being that. I mean, I would say Bell's the 1 would be favored in this race probably, but I don't want,
Yeah, Bell's
I get that. Her buyers are shit. Her buyers are very shit for this.
Their time forms aren't great either. And Bell's the 1 is not is better now than she was last year as well.
Yeah, she's kind of all over the place last year. Anyway, so I know you didn't use her. I didn't actually look at your ticket. Did we use the same the horse here? We did. Oh, let's talk about the 4, Caribbean Caper. Forget the fact that her first name is spelled wrong, and it drives me crazy. This horse is great. If you don't know, she won her first 5 starts, all at age 3. She got an ungraded stakes win, a graded stakes win, favored in 4 of them, odds on in 3 of those races. And then she misses 11 months. And here's the key, Mike. She already has a huge broodmare value at this point. She misses 11 months and they bring her back to the races. That's crazy. You forgive that last out dud because of the time off. She also was facing 6 stakes winners, including a grade 1 winner in that field. 3 of her 4 works since that race. Bullets, 46-3 last week. Let's go. I love this horse here.
Yeah, I do too. And I like the fact you hit the nail on the head. Look, that last race was a prep to get her into this spot. And they even worked her on the turf before that race. If you go back and look at the works that she was doing, they were all to prep her and get her more built up for this spot. Comes back, 4 solid workouts. All systems go here. The numbers as a 3-year-old are good enough. If we improve here, second off the layoff as a 4-year-old to be as good, if not the best horse in this race. I was between the 2 and the 4 in my top pick here. So I love this. It's Caribbean Capper, not Caribbean Capper, by the way. And so I think Caribbean Capper has a big shot in this spot. I love the fact that Jose Ortiz picks up the mount as well. Because I think that's interesting that after having CJ Hernandez on this horse for 6 straight races, now you flip over to Jose Ortiz in a big money spot. I think it's all systems go. I love the fact that we didn't shy away after that race. Because even if you watch that Caribbean Capper race last time out, she more or less makes the lead and then just gets tired. And that's all it was. And so you can completely excuse the ending of that effort based sheerly off the fitness aspect of it. And now you're cutting back to 6 furlongs from 7, and you got these workouts. You got a more fit horse. The competition aspect is still there. The head is still there. She wanted to do it. It was just a problem of getting tired in that last furlong. So I love that comeback race. I think it's sneaky good on paper, even though the buyer isn't great. And I love the fact that they kind of stayed aggressive and put her in this spot next.
You used one other horse in here, the 7 Slam, the 3-1 favorite. I went back and forth about her. The price ended up keeping her off of my ticket ultimately, but she is 2 for 2 at the distance, and Todd Fincher has been doing well. We just saw him win with Senior Buscador in the ACAC Stakes to go to the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile last weekend. So talk about Slam.
Yeah, this is one I was back and forth on. I love it when Fincher sends horses to Del Mar. That's one of those things that we've seen with his top tier horses. They start somewhere in Texas, they end up in Arizona, but if they're really good, they end up at Del Mar. That's what we saw with Slammed here. Comes back, runs huge first off the layoff, runs back again well. Now we're shipping in here. You get Giroux aboard. I really respect that effort. 2 back going 6 furlongs at Del Mar. Gets a 98 buyer. looked phenomenal doing it too. Beat Grace Adler and Midnight Memories in that spot. Lost to Edgeway last out. There's no shame in losing to Edgeway. We're cutting back to 6 furlongs again. I Slammed has tactical speed, but doesn't need the lead. There's just a lot of things to like on this 7 horse. I can't really get excited about any of these long shots. Like I tried to get excited about Little Tootsie, wasn't going to happen, right? I tried like Wisconsin even, who get an 8-1, good price considering who she's been facing, but the last 2 efforts were bad, right? There are races you can point to, but the last 2 just left something to be desired. So I'm a little concerned Wisconsin might have lost a step.
One horse that we didn't talk about that I'm a little concerned about just because it's Wesley Ward and it's Keeneland. The 9 Happy Soul almost won Music City Stakes last out at Kentucky Downs. You had her on your ticket. You got a good thrill there. Almost won it 15-1. But she shows up here. Her dirt buyers don't compare, but she did get a 94 for that turf buyer. Wesley Ward, the reason I bring it up is that Wesley Ward also trains Kamari. Kamari is going to the Breeders' Cup Filly Mare Sprint. Well, I don't know. Wesley Ward doesn't actually know what he's doing with her, but she's going to the Breeders' Cup. She could have easily come to this race where at Keeneland, where she's dominated multiple times, won this race. It didn't do that. She went somewhere else, and Happy Soul shows up here. I'm not saying there's anything specific to go with that, but it is interesting to me the chess moves that he was playing. That also was a grade 1, so that might have something to do with it. But any interest at all in the 9?
Tough to back a 3-year-old in this spot. That was one of my biggest issues is that this is the 1 3-year-old in the race facing all olders, accomplished older horses. It's just a tall task. It's not like we're catching 6 pounds here or 8 pounds. You get a 2-pound weight break for being 3 versus 4 or 5. It's tough for me this late in the season to be like, okay, hey, I'm going to back 3-year-olds in these races unless they are exceptional 3-year-olds. Happy Soul is not an exceptional 3-year-old in my mind. She's very good. She's just not that like exceptional. You like look at the boys' side. The 3-year-olds that you're talking about that can compete with the top tier older males. There's 2 of them. It's Taba and it's Epicenter. No one else can, right? And the 3-year-olds that compete on the Philly side, it's just Nest. No one else can. These are like phenomenal horses. Happy Soul doesn't quite belong in that list.
I agree with you. We'll move on. Third leg of the All Stakes, pick 5 at Keeneland, Saturday, October 8th. Race 8 is the grade 1 First Lady Stakes. You've got 6 older fillies and mares going a mile on the turf. 3 of these are from trainer Chad Brown, including the 6-5 favorite and a co-single for Magic and Mike, number 5, Regal Glory. Chad's got technical analysis in here. He's got an Italian in here. It's not a Breeders' Cup win in your event. I would assume Regal Glory goes to the mile out of this, assuming she does well. But I'll turn it over to you, buddy. Why did we both single Regal Glory?
I mean, it's pretty simple. Just a massive drop in class here. Doesn't have to face Casa Creed. Right? Am I right?
You couldn't wait. You couldn't wait 2 races to talk about that damn horse. You had to cut in line and talk about. No, go ahead.
Look, we get to face the fillies again. That's a big thing here. Like she faced the boys last time out. She ran well. She just ran into a monster named Casa Creed. So you can't blame her for that, but she's been dominant. Like if you go back and you look at the Just a Game, the Jenny Wiley, she's just phenomenal in those races. I would look at a horse like In Italian, but In Italian dominated a 1.8 at Saratoga. The mile race is just not as impressive. Then you go to like someone like Technical Analysis. You can go to Princess Grace, Vigilante's Way. They're all a cut below Regal Glory here. It's just that simple. When she's facing her own at a mile, she is exceptionally talented. And I don't want to mess around here. I'm playing $1 ticket. It's only $45. I've got bombs in the last 2 legs here. I structured this around, hey, I think there are 2 standouts in the sequence. I'm not going to get cute in those races. I'll get cute elsewhere. See if we can get prices home. And to me, Regal Glory is one of those where you're trying to beat her here. You're getting cute. It's just that simple.
I hate everybody in the chat, and I hate you for what you started. It's just a Casa Creed part. Guys, we're 2 races away. You couldn't have waited until the end.
You asked me why. I gave you the logical answer. If it weren't for Casa Creed, she would have won like 10 straight. It's not Casa Creed's fault he's so good.
It's great. It's funny too. Michael correctly guessed that we've both singled the 5 there, but he also brings up a good point. We've had trouble in the past singling Chad Brown horses, and I did the math. If you want to take your ticket instead of for $1, do it for 50 cents. It's only going to cost you $67.50 to just use the 3 Chad Browns. Did you consider doing that at all? Because the multi-headed Chad Brown monster has really effed us in the past.
No, because I don't really want to go 3 deep where I'm singling Golden Pal and using a 6-5, a 3-1, and a 5-2 in the 3 deep leg. Like you kind of have to take a stand somewhere. And I'm not getting crazy in the race before this either. And so I don't really want to play a 50-cent ticket where I'm using 3 of the top 4 favorites. I'm using a heavy chalk, and then I'm using the top 3 favorites in 3 legs. It just long run, you're not going to get back what you want off that ticket to make it positive. So you kind of have to trim down in spots. To me, if like this is a single race to me, and like it'll get you in trouble sometimes. This is why you lose tickets sometimes when you go into these races. You say, okay, I could see going too deep maybe if you want to, but like using all 3, you're just basically buying this leg without buying it, and it is possible they lose. And so it just long term, it's not a great way to play this ticket.
Real Glory, I was looking at her form, and I was like, man, this reminds me a lot of Uni. You remember her? She won this race actually 2019 and 2020. Won the Breeders' Cup Mile in 2019. Both times Uni won this, she was exiting a loss in the 4-star Dave, just like we're seeing with Regal Glory. She lost this race last year by half length, like you mentioned. She runs in a lot of small horse fields because of who she is, but she's 4 for 5 in 6 horse fields. And just in case one of the Chads scratches out of this, she's 2 for 3 in 5 horse races too. So we've got that on her side. The lone loss in the 5 horse field, by the way, was the 4-star Dave. So, it was against the great Akasha Apollo Creed. You can be forgiven. Yeah. Who's the rabbit? How do you see the pace here, Mike?
This is a huge bleeping problem because there are 2 rabbits, technical analysis in Italian, both played the rabbit role for Chad Brown. There's no other speed in here. This is really the biggest issue with Regal Glory is that guess who's not going to press each other? The 3 and the 4. Someone's going to be out there. Someone is going to be sitting right behind them. Regal Glory will probably be sitting in 3rd. And then you have to trust that Regal Glory is the best horse. The thing I like about Regal Glory, tactical speed. Regal Glory is going to sit close enough to these horses that if I believe that Regal Glory is better, Regal Glory will win. It's like we talked about Nation's Pride a couple weeks ago. As long as Nation's Pride was within a couple lengths turning for home, I had confidence Nation's Pride was going to win. Same here with Regal Glory. As long as Regal Glory is within a length and a half of the leader at the top of the stretch, I think Regal Glory gets there. I don't see Regal Glory that far back because Regal Glory has tactical speed. So because of that, I'm comfortable singling the 5 here. I would assume in Italian is going to be your leader.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think we go in Italian leads, technical analysis, maybe Princess Grace. If you look at how Flo has ridden her specifically, she's very much up near the front. So he'll probably want to keep her close. And I think Regal Glory probably sits in 4th heading into that first turn. But we'll see what happens.
What price do you think Regal Glory goes off at?
4 to 5.
Okay. I think your money's a pretty good number on her. I think you might get around. In Italian's last race was so phenomenal. I do think that the 4 ends up going off shorter than the 3.
I can see that.
And then the question is, do you get even money? Do you get 6 to 5 on Regal Glory? Which is possible. I mean, the 3 and the 4 should both take money. We'll see what the 5 ends up going off it. But I agree. I think you're probably looking at 3 to 5, 4 to 5 if the money comes in correctly.
Let's move on, Mike. Penultimate leg of the All Stakes Pick 5 at Keeneland on Saturday, October 8th. Race 9 is the Grade 1 Kalleward Breeders Futurity. It's a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and this is the first of 2 overdrawn fields. God bless you, Keeneland. 14 2-year-old boys plus 2 also eligibles. And remember, we're going a mile and the 16th on the dirt at Keeneland. We start and finish at the 16th pole. Where are you going on top?
Forte, baby. Let's make it 2 in a row. Look, this horse got absolutely forgotten after that the race 2 back. I forget what stakes race it was at Saratoga. It was the Sanford, and it went off the $1.45 favorite, and people just wrote Forte off because of that race. Forte was the only horse who closed an inch of freaking ground in that race. Everybody else who was in the top part of that race was all on the lead. Forte closed some ground, didn't get the best trip in the world, comes back and dusts them in the hopeful at 7 to 1. I like that 7 to 1 price. I like the 3 to 1 price here too. I like Forte's. The fact that Forte has tactical speed, those were sprints. Now we're going 2 turns. Shouldn't have any issue with the distance. Likes to come from off the pace. Has the professionalism already. I like Forte quite a bit. It's unfortunate that there's some other horses on the West Coast, or else I'd like Forte even more. But I think Forte is the best 2-year-old on the East Coast right now.
He's pretty darn good. He made my ticket. So there's it's going to be 14 horses. 12 horses end up running in this. 14. I don't know. I can't even do math.
How many did you use?
What's that?
How many did you use? Oh, no, that's next race. Never mind.
No, that was this one.
Oh, no,
that was this one. Yeah. No, I did the math wrong. That's why I listen. This is why Magic doesn't do right now. I've got the COVID fog too, so that's a real thing. Yes, everything you said about Forte, love about that. You went 3 deep. I went extremely deep. So I'll just let you talk about the next horse you want to talk about.
So you went the almost all button.
Yes.
And left out Baffert and Ward.
Yes.
Tell me more.
No, that's right. But seriously, we're on a time crunch here. Keep going. Talk about your next horse here.
All right, just checking. All right, I'm gonna go to 2 Loggins. This was the of the 2
Loggins. Now look, before either of us does something we'll both regret.
But we're not going to regret it because we both use Loggins. Continue.
Well, of course you used Loggins. You used every horse except the Ward and the Baffert. So logically, you're going to use the 2-horse Loggins here. I guess you didn't use the 50-1 shot for DeSormo too. Who I'm walking into the winner's circle now. Just play the 4 to win here, confidence game. So that's what Magic's showing here in this race. Yeah, I like Loggins the 2. This horse looked awesome in debut at Churchill. Didn't go to the lead, which I kind of like as a 2-year-old. Sat 3 wide, was able to just make this massive move. Wins by 8, looked phenomenal. And this is one of those, when you look at the breeding, this is go sapper out of a blame mare. Horse does not want to sprint. That horse wants 2 turns. And I like the draw here. You know you have tactical speed. Flo, please don't screw this up. Protect the rail. Get out there. Get a little forwardly placed, right? And then just kind of get into stride. Let horses cross over on you. End up sitting like on the rail, 3rd or 4th. Make a big move around the turn. See what you can do. But Loggins looks like a monster here. I like Loggins quite a bit. I went crazy with the price, or I would have just gone 2-7 in this spot.
I also like the price horse that you were looking at there, the number 6, Bourbon Bash, 20-1 for the coach. I know if you haven't yet, the preview for this race is up at racenews.com and youtube.com/racenews. But Aaron also mentioned this horse as well, and he ran a good debut at Saratoga to finish second to Blazing Sevens. If you remember, the coach said early in the Saratoga meet, his horses were struggling to get over the track, but we saw, including with Secret Oath, that she didn't win, but like she got better with more experience over the track. That's what this horse did. Destroyed a field next time out. It was a race that you and I covered on Magic Mike Show. I think if you didn't single, this was at least your top pick. The horse looked like 2 turns was exactly what he wanted. And then the last time out, it could have been an awkward start. It could have been the slop. Not every horse loves the slop. So even though, ironically, the horse is named Bourbon, I think I'd be a little stronger feeling about this horse, Mike, if we had Saez or Pratt or Jose Ortiz or Tyler Gaffleone, anybody who's been on him before, riding. But Rafael Bejarano's not a slub, and that's partly why we're getting 20-1 instead of 12 or 15-1.
I don't mind Bejarano at all. I'm gonna be honest. Like, Bejarano does well in Kentucky. I mean, he's one of those jockeys who he's 11, 12, 13%, somewhere in that range, knows how to get a horse home. Yeah, you kind of wish that some of the other riders would have stayed. But look, when Saez gets a call to ride a Brad Cox horse like Instant Coffee, he's going to take that call and take that horse over Bourbon Bash. I mean, there's just certain things that happen, so I'm not going to necessarily knock the rider situation here. This is, to me, just a wild overreaction. That horse steadied out of the gate. It was a sloppy track. I can make all kinds of excuses for Bourbon Bash. The horse shouldn't go from that effort 2 back to this race and be 20-1. It's just that simple. 20-1 is way too high here. This is one way you can try and really juice this up. And I don't really like anyone else in this race. Like, I kind of went through it. I'm like, okay, I tried to get into the McPeaks because we had a little bit of a price and we're in Kentucky and weird shit happens. So you got to throw a McPeak on every now and then. But last time was the time for Honed. Had him at 57-1. Don't really want him at 12-1, especially since we need a big time improvement here off of that race to be able to get it. And let's be honest, that race kind of collapsed. Like, that's why Honed ended up running second. So not really interested in taking a quarter of the price on a horse that I was right about last time in a field that I think is more difficult than what he faced last time. So that's tough. Frost's departure couldn't really get there either. And then you look at, like, okay, you kind of go down Instant Coffee. I think Loggins is the better Cox. I don't really want to use Instant Coffee. I looked at Lost Ark, but it's, again, Forte I think is the better Pletcher. It's just the horses that I tried to make a case for, I couldn't. And then Bourbon Bash sitting there at 20-1, you can make a logical reason why we can improve off that race 2 back, and that makes him competitive in this spot.
So just a little bit behind the scenes, breaking kayfabe real quick. I had mixed up my ticket with the next race a little bit. I'm actually only 5 deep in here, so it makes a little. I was looking at some of the numbers and I was like, wait, that doesn't line up with anything that I wrote down notes wise. Listen. It's been neither of us is allowed to make fun of the other. Actually, we make fun of the other.
No, it's constant.
So I went 5 deep. You happen to name the. So you've talked about 3 already. And then
your ticket's better now. I'll give you that. I mean, it was an atrocious ticket before, so at least we're better. It's a better ticket.
That's why I kept, like, you and Aaron kept looking and laughing, and I was like, Aaron's not letting this go, so it actually must suck. He's not just, being Aaron. So I looked at it. Yeah, no, that was terrible. Loggins, top pick. Essential Quality won this race in 2020 for Brad Cox in his second start after he broke his maiden on debut at Churchill Downs dirt sprinting looking clearly like he needed 2 turns. That's the exact same thing that we saw here with Loggins. I wish I had Luis Saez. Can we maybe trade jockeys here? Because I also like this one better than Instant Coffee, but it is Flo once in a while. You know, he gets a gun runner that even he can't screw up. The stats too, I don't know if you saw this, but 5 times in the past, Brad Cox has taken a 2-year-old from a sprint debut to a graded stakes route at Keeneland. 5 times, he's got 2 wins, he's got 2/3, Essential Quality being one of those wins. So he's very good at it. I did use Instant Coffee. Don't love that this was a Cox debut runner at Saratoga that went off at 15-1. You could blame part of that because it was Dylan Davis riding, and no shame at him, but we're getting a big upgrade to Luis Saez now. He's in the middle instead of on the rail. I think that's better for him here. Should get a good early mid-pack position instead of getting shuffled way back because he's not a very fast horse early. Also, the 4th place finisher from that debut, W. Nell, just broke his maiden. I think was that last weekend. So coming out of a good race there. And then I also used the 10 Lost Ark, and I saw some people talking about it. Lost Ark is a half brother to Nest and Idol. And then if you're not, the dam is Marion Ravenwood, the name of the female lead, and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Blah blah. That's why you have Lost Ark here. This horse being a 6-1, Mike, is why I ultimately ended up using him. Won both of his starts so far by open lengths. Won a 2-turn dirt stakes by open lengths last week. Major Dude was 3rd in that race. He just won the Pilgrim last weekend. That's a Breeders' Cup win in your event for the juvenile turf. This horse is 3-5 on debut. He's even money last out, and he's 6-1 here. And Flavien Prat's riding. I feel like this is one of those times where this horse should not be 6-1 in this spot, and I kind of have to take him. Maybe it's because of just how many horses are overall in this field, but I feel like I really have to play him at 6-1.
I mean, you're bearing the lead here. Who's the sire?
Violence.
There you go. You got to at least mention that in the handicap. Come on.
I'll try to let you do that. That's your line. I don't want to steal it.
I do like Lost Ark's a little bit interesting. I'll give you that. I didn't like the fact that there wasn't a major improvement from that first to second start. The first start at Belmont was pretty good. Blew the doors off of Aaron in that original race there. I don't know what to make of the second one and going to Monmouth. That kind of threw me off with Lost Ark, to be honest with you, because like all the good Pletchers, there's a lot of 2-year-old stakes at Saratoga that you could run in. And in the fact that we decided to go to Monmouth, run there, and now we're coming here, it just kind of, it doesn't make me feel warm and fuzzy inside. So that's one of the main reasons I left Lost Ark off. Again, like I just felt like Instant Coffee and Lost Ark were kind of covered by Loggins and Forte, who got the top jockey from the barn and are the better horse in the barn. And I'm trying to play a pretty small ticket because I'm singling 2 chalky horses. And so I wanted to find a way to not get too crazy here.
Let's talk about real quick, and then we move on. The Baffert horse, Newgate, 20-1. It's Velasquez. It's Baffert. It's a horse that cost $850,000, and he lost last time to Cave Rock. There's no real shame in that. Talk about why you didn't use this horse.
Newgate. Yeah, I was not excited by him. I mean, that's really the bottom line. I didn't think that the Del Mar Futurity was very good. You should like the added distance. I mean, this is an Into Mischief. It kind of fits with everything else, but probably needs to run career best race to be competitive. And there's quite a bit of other speed in here. And I guess that Newgate's probably going to go to the lead. This isn't the Baffert that I'm looking for. And I don't love the fact that this is where we ended up either. He doesn't usually ship to Keeneland if he thinks he has a really good horse. And obviously he's running K-Rock this weekend. He's got 4 in that spot. And yes, Newgate still shows up here, right? I mean, it's tough. I like the price. I like the fact that Johnny V is up. Those are all positives.
Right.
And 20-1 is a good price. Like if you like Newgate, don't not play him because I'm not playing him. Like 20-1 is a nice price. I wouldn't want to talk anyone off this horse. Just again, I mean, I guess I could add it even on my ticket. It's only $60, but yeah, I mean, Newgate just for me it's not who I want in here.
Yeah, this feels like Baffert has, by the way, Baffert has 4 horses in the American Pharoah Stakes at California. And this is the one he said, nah, send him away. Go away. This horse has been working consistently in California. Nope, send him out of here. He did well at Del Mar. Nope, send him out of here. So, yeah.
Kind of this feels like he just wanted to ship some with the Phillies, and Newgate drew the short end of the stick, right?
Yeah, they did. It was cheaper for if you got a bulk rate. By the way, the debut win, all 8 rivals from that race are still maidens. 4 of them that raced back actually regressed buyer-wise. So, all reasons I didn't like, but just wanted to bring it up because I know the chat was mentioning. Let's move on. We got the last leg here, the final leg of the All Stakes Pick 5 at Keeneland on Saturday, October 8th. It's race 10, the Grade 1 Coolmore Turf Mile. It's a Breeders' Cup win, and you're in for the Turf Mile. Field of 12 plus 4, also eligibles, Reed, going on top.
Come on. What do you think I win? What kind of question is this? Give me the 9 Casa Creed, baby. Casa Creed, the best miler in America. Well, maybe not the best, but look, this race sets up really well for Casa Creed. There is quite a bit of speed in this spot. Casa Creed should be able to sit directly behind that speed, get first run. How can you fade this horse right now? I don't understand how you could do it. Now, the turf mile, guys, let's chill. We're gonna have a few more European horses that are gonna come in, so we got to see who goes there. But look, I 5-1. I don't think. Do we really get 5-1 here?
I mean, you might. There's a lot of. If we're getting 15-1 on set piece, I think we can get 5-1 on Casa Creed.
Yeah, but we are using set piece. I agree with you on that. That is a little bit of an overlay. Okay, Casa Creed top pick. Look, last 2 races have been absolutely phenomenal. Casa Creed is just. Bill Mott has done it. I can't even think of the right words for this. Just such a good job with this horse. Casa Creed's now made $1.7 million, $840,000 this year, 2 for 4 this year. Came back from overseas, looked awesome in the Jaipur, awesome in the 4-star Dave. No reason to think we can't take to this Keeneland course and look good here as well. So I realize we're 0-2 at Keeneland. That is really probably the biggest concern here with Casa Creed. But Casa Creed's never run this well in his life. We are currently at the peak of this Jimmy Creed horse at 6. If we can keep this rolling and we get the right setup, which we should, there's a lot of speed in here. We should get the right setup. I think Casa Creed can get it done again.
I agree with you on so much of that. I did not want to use Casa Creed here. Gonna use him, but because you think you'd made a great point. He is the absolute best he's ever been right now. And the fact that he won the 4-star Dave at 2 turns when earlier in the year, Bill Mott had said, we're going to aim for the turf sprint because we don't think he's a 2-turn horse. And then he ends up going off and doing it in the 4-star Dave after what he'd done just in the race prior to that. There's so much speed in here. It sets up so well for him. I mean, you've got horses like Smooth Like Straight, he's not going to win, but he's going to make sure that they go really fast early. Classic Causeway is going to go really fast early. A lot of horses that are going to be up front. Some like at Hot Brown.
Hot Brown, yeah. There's a ton of speed in here.
Yeah, so I'll use him. I went 5 deep here. I'm gonna, the 5-1 price helps. I did use the favorite on top, Santine at 7-2. I think just like Casa Creed, he is as in form as anyone in this field. He had that really gutsy 9 furlong victory last time out. If you scratch off the Manhattan, this horse does. I think he's not meant to go 10 furlongs. He's got tactical speed, but I think he's got the kick to sit back. And I like the fact that we're cutting back from 9 to 8 furlongs with him because he's going to need every ounce of energy to make sure he can get past the speed, but then hold off the closers because there are a lot of great ones that are in here. And one of those is the 12 set piece that we both are loving to use here at 15-1.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a key there. I use the 7 Santine as well. The race on October 23rd, 2021 at Keeneland going a mile. Yes, it was an NYX allowance, but Santine came from 7th in a 9-horse field to get the job done in a mile. That is the race you're going to need to see from Santine. And because this is a shorter race, I would expect he's going to be further off the pace. He has tactical speed, got a kick. I think that the 7 can work out a trip here. But this is just too juicy of a race not to spread out a little bit. Give me the 5 Mason is my other must use. This horse ran last time out, ran behind Casa Creed in that race, just Mr. Regal Glory in the 4-star Dave. This is a 4-year-old son of Kingman. Pratt gets aboard for the 4th time. This is one of those horses that debuted in the Maker's Mile just to miss the Shield Sprite as the favorite. Looked phenomenal in the following 2 races. Came into the 4-star Dave and just got outfinished a little bit by some of these horses. Has tactical speed to stay close. Will probably get the first run. I can't believe we're getting 12-1 on Mason in this spot after you were getting sub-even money in 2 of the 4 U.S. starts.
I'm going to pass on Mason. I thought that, the Maker's Mark Mile was by far, not just buyer-wise, but visually the best race that we've seen from him. But then, the fact that he did what he did in the 4-star turned me off here. You are getting an incredible price on a horse that was 9-5, 1-5, 1-5, and then 7-2 versus Casa Creed and Regal Glory. To me, he's a worse version of Santine, and he only beats 3 and 5 horse fields. You look at that race, like he was a neck ahead of Smooth Like Straight and a nose behind Shield Spite, but Smooth Like Straight's always right there. So somebody's going to beat him. You just happen to be the horse to beat him that day.
Swing,
Tentpole.
Can't do
12-1. Chad Brown, Flavian Pratt. Come on.
Nah. You keep him.
All right, where else are you going?
For me, let's see. The number 6 Ivar won this race in 2020. If you look back that year, the form, he picks up a nice victory in the summer in 2020, picks a nice 3rd in a big stakes race in September, and then he takes the blinkers off for this race and he wins it. 2022, he picks up a nice victory in the summer in the Schuster Stakes, gets a nice second behind Modern Games last time out. And we're probably all of our top pick right now for the Turf Mile, Modern Games. And now he takes the blinkers off for this race again. Paulo Lobo, you brought it up before with Palm Cottage in a different race. He's very crafty. When he's got a good horse, he really knows how to handle him. So I'm going to roll with Ivar. I was very curious to watch this horse 2 years ago, and I was like, I'm going to watch him because I think next out's when you play him. And that was wrong. So I'm not going to make that mistake again.
I don't like Paulo Lobo at short prices. That's my biggest issue with Ivar here. 6-1 in this spot. Won this race at 14-1 last year. I want something closer to that 14-1 price than I want the 6-1 price on Ivar. Just a very confusing horse to me, the way this horse is run. Yes, finished second last time behind Modern Games. Wasn't a ton in that race, though. Let's be honest. Like, it didn't beat that much there. So I just don't want any part at 6-1. I think there's just a lot juicier horses here, like the 8 Annapolis, who, for Todd Pletcher, Irad Ortiz, this is one of those horses now that the one knock again. This is 3-year-olds facing older, which I again try to avoid as much as possible. But man, I like the Annapolis as a 2-year-old. I like this. I think that this is a pretty aggressive spot. It's going to be the first time we face older. The mile races are very good. The Belmont Mile, it's a 1/3 mile, ran well. I can't believe lost to Wildwood a Summer. I think Wildwood a Summer was like 80-1 or something ridiculous in that spot. But at 10-1, with the way this race is going to set up, I think Annapolis can make one big run and get to the front.
I don't trust him in this spot. I think this is, I think, we're just going to go with him, try and see if he can go Breeders' Cup. I don't think he's that caliber. I don't love the fact that the Saranac Stakes, I can't trust a 97 buyer because he was miles the best of those horses that were already in that race, and there was only 3 of them behind him. And somehow second and third place, 2 of them dead heated for second. Like, I don't know how you dead heat for second in a 4-horse field like that. But
you
that's what happens.
You hit the finish line at the same time as your noses.
But you know what? He was a good second to Nation's Pride in the Saratoga Derby, and we did like Nation's Pride this year. I didn't use him, but because of how big the field is, you're going to get a lot of great prices on some horses. Last one for me, number 3, Order of Australia. Why not? This horse won the Breeders' Cup Turf Mile at Keeneland, 73-1, as an also eligible in 2020.
Hate this horse.
Oh, I know a lot of people don't like this horse. I don't either. Dominated a Group 2 at the Curragh earlier this year, so he's still in form at age 5. He was a solid second in a huge Group 1 in France last time out. By the way, this horse was racing against Mendelssohn at age 2. Like, that's how old this damn horse is. I really, really, really hope that we get some sort of a mid-stretch showdown between Order of Australia and Annapolis. Because Christoph Sumian with Irad to his inside, those elbows are just going to be flying. So what are we going to do? Suspend me again? Like, I've already been suspended and I'm not coming back. Like, I think that would just be awesome to see, Christoph Sumian razor elbows on Order of Australia flying down the stretch.
That was wild what he did. I don't think I've ever seen anyone push anyone off a horse before. I mean, that was freaking wild that he did that. Yeah, I don't trust Order of Australia. And we saw this last year.
Fair.
Last year, he came in here, ran at Keeneland, ran in a mile race, went off as your $1.20 favorite, and got shellacked.
Yep.
And was probably in better form going into that race. Time form numbers were better going into that race than going into this race. And it's not Moore that's coming over, who is his regular rider. They're bringing over
a guy that's not allowed to ride over there right now.
They're bringing over razor elbows instead. Can we get a shredder outfit for him? Can he ride with the shredder colors? I can't hear. If Order of Australia was 72-1 in here, then yeah, let's talk about it. But at 8-1, I think this is a wild underlay.
Yeah, too bad Sonny Leon got suspended. We put him on a horse in here and just really have him go at it. It'd be pretty
want
great.
Paco, man. Give me Paco, and that'd be fun.
No, Paco's boss level. You got to work your way up through Irad before you get to Paco. That's the one. Did we hit all of your horses here? I don't want to close out before.
A set piece. I mean, we didn't talk about set piece. We're both using set piece to 12, who's sitting on the board at 15-1. And we've talked about how much speed's in this race. Guess who benefits from that? Set piece. And you know what? By far the best jockey he's ever had, except for the one other time that Joel Rosario has ridden this horse. Okay. I throw slander at Joel Rosario all the time, which actually isn't slander because it's in fact, it's based in fact. So it's not slander. It's just truth.
You're going to say that.
But Florent Giroux is a step below Joel Rosario. Florent Giroux, the regular rider here, got this horse in a ton of trouble all over the place. And what do we say about Rosario? What type of horse do we want him on?
Closer, especially on the turf.
What type of horse is this?
Closer, especially on the turf.
It looks like it's a good fit between human and animal here. This should work out well for everybody involved, and you're going to get the pace. The gate doesn't matter because he's going to be able to just tuck it in the back and make one big run anyway. Rosario's going to have to put a good ride in here. Going to have to find a couple paths, but the setup is there. I like the jockey switch. Hopefully, it's all systems go at 15-1 on set piece.
If you remember, too, back earlier this year, the only time he tried Keeneland, that Maker's Mark Mile, we keep referring back to, he was really rank early, and Florent was having all sorts of problems. He never is within 4.5 lengths of the leader that early. So, the fact that he was ranked early, Florent kind of fought him for a bit. He was kind of all over the place, and he still was just 2 lengths behind. I know he's 7th, but it was a blanket finish. He didn't quit in the stretch. In fact, he gained 3/4 of a length from the stretch to the finish. So the fact that he didn't quit there, it's not that he hit a Keeneland. He just something was a little screwy that day. So I'm glad you brought him up because I thought for sure we'd mention him here. So yeah, we definitely love set piece at that 15-1 price. All right, that's going to do for this episode of the Magic Mike Show. Thanks for joining Mike and I to talk about Keeneland's All Stakes Pick 5. Remember, that's races 6 through 10. And if you are watching on YouTube here, we've got the tickets here. Whoa, what happened there? Didn't mean to have that happen.
Scroll.
I thought I must have unchecked it. There we go. Tickets down below. I will start off, and I promise this is the correct ticket now. I'll start off going 4-7 with 3-4 with 5 with 2-5 6-7 10 3-6 7 9 12. That's $50 for 50 cents.
I'm going to play a dollar ticket, try and get 2 singles home here. I'm going to go 4 with 2-4-7 with 5 with 2-6-7 with 5-7 8 9 12. It costs $45 for a dollar. We get the 2 singles. Hopefully, we can get a couple prices in the other legs. I don't want to go crazy here because I think this sequence could be a little chalky in those 2 spots.
Shotty says, enjoy the show. Make sure you like the video. Yes, make sure you hit like on the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. We've got a ton of previews still coming out for this whole weekend. There's 14 Breeders' Cup winning your in prep races Friday through Sunday. We're going to have a couple of live shows. We'll have one Friday afternoon covering the 3 graded stakes at Keeneland. What is that? 4 to 5:30, I believe it is. We said, well, if you subscribe, you'll find out. But we're doing that. And then Saturday, we've got a big one covering, I think, 4 to 6:30, 4 to something like that, where we got almost every Breeders' Cup prep race on Saturday that we're covering. It's live. Come and join us. It's a lot of fun. We do live betting on there. We gave out the Life is Good over Law Professor Exacta for a very nice price on last week's live show. So I'll be here. Mike might be here. I know you're still a little in flux, but I know Aaron's going to be joining me for those. And on Saturday, Mike, the Racing Dudes Tournament Challenge, it's back.
Tournament challenge dance. Yeah, $20 to enter. 1 of every 5 people qualify for the finals, which is going to be on December 26th, Malibu Day from Santa Anita. It's the full card from Keeneland on Saturday. So these races we covered as well as the 6 others since there's an 11 race card. So great card to play. We'll be live for the back part of it. So we'll be talking about it. Open to anybody. But if you are a subscriber and you qualify and you are a subscriber and you win, you get an extra $250. So got a shot at $750 if you're a subscriber. You got a shot at $500 if you just want to play the tournament against us. Great time. Great way to get involved in tournaments, too. If you've never tried a tournament before, it's a lot of fun to do. There's usually, probably like 40 to 50 people, something like that on Saturday. So the winner, the top 5 will get some cash. And then 1 of every 5 will also advance onto the finals on the 26th. So it should be an absolute blast. Make sure you're playing the tournaments. That's over at horsetourneys.com. You can click the link that Racing Dudes Twitter put out. I've retweeted it myself. I'm sure Magic has as well. Just click on that article, click on the link, enter the tournament, $20, loads of fun.
Make sure I was unmuted there. Jared just also made a video that's up right now on the YouTube channel. And again, at that post, it will be promoting the hell out of it. Don't worry, you won't miss it. But we'll have a lot of information for you about that. Make sure you sign up. And like Mike said, $500 guaranteed cash prize to the winner of the championship on Malibu Day. And if you are a Racing Dude subscriber active at that time for that part, $250 extra for you. So you can win $750 cash for this. It's $20 to enter. You can qualify once per tournament and up to twice for this. So it's a lot of fun. Dr. Tang is part of it. I told Dr. Tang I was going to go ahead and start advertising his participation in it because he's a pretty big deal now when it comes to BCBC and NHC. So happy to have him and anybody else who wants to join. Sorry.
Breaking news.
Sorry. Yes.
You're going to BC, the Breeders' Cup.
Do I have a plane ticket yet?
I was told that Magic will be there.
Okay.
Come on. It's going to be
Aaron's in the background, and Aaron's in the background smugly nodding. So I think that's, I'll be going. I'll be there. It'll be fun.
Amazing. Love it.
Speaking of Breeders' Cup, because it is at Keeneland, it's very important to watch the races this weekend. We have all the previews for the races up right now, or they'll be coming up soon. And again, we'll have all of our reactions up over the weekend to all the major stakes races. Which of the races this entire weekend, Mike, all of them, what are you looking forward to the most?
Casa Creed!
How did I not see that coming?
I mean, I am most excited to watch Casa Creed run again because Casa Creed's become one of those horses for me. I mean, if you haven't watched the show for all 411 episodes, I don't fault you if you haven't. Probably the 13th, 14th episode, something like that. Casa Creed won at 17-1 in Florida. That was one of the episodes that got us going and really got us into it. And that was just, it's been a horse that I think it's probably the most covered horse we've ever done. So I'm excited to see Casa Creed run. I'm excited, I can't believe we might actually see Casa Creed with a legitimate shot to win a Breeders' Cup race. We'll see who shows up, see what happens there. But there is a path right now for that horse to win a Breeders' Cup race, which is absolutely wild. I'm excited to see Forte run again because I feel like Forte just got shat on for that effort at Saratoga and kind of validated himself last time in the hopeful. So I'm excited to see come back. And then Cave Rock, it's three Baffords that are really the competitors in there. You've got National Treasure, you've got Cave Rock, you've got Hijazi. I'm excited to see them come back. I'm excited to see Hijazi race just because Speedboat Beach came back and ran a buyer 25 points or 29 points less than that maiden breaking score. And Hijazi ran a 64 to start his career, runs 100 behind Speedboat Beach. We're going to find out which one of those was accurate and a lot more about Speedboat Beach with that Hijazi race as well. So I'm excited to see Cave Rock, excited to see National Treasure, excited to see Hijazi. It's going to be a fun weekend for that 2-year-old male group.
And, Hijazi still being a maiden, $3.5 million son of Bernardini, who I think his last probably 400 children sold for a combined $3.5 million. So pretty impressive for him. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. I am at Curtis Kalleward. He is at Somobomb 18, number 1, number 8. Corporate Overlords at Racing_Dudes. And by the way, Blinkers Off is going to be live as soon as we are done. So if you're watching us live, stay right here. The video will pop up as soon as we're done and ask you to go join them. They're covering all 14 prep races in rapid fire. So enjoy that show. Go follow them and enjoy whatever the hell they talk about besides horse racing. I'm sure there'll be a lot of Chiefs talk. Mike, it's been a pleasure. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, got football tonight. I like the Broncos, not a ton, but I like them. I like the first half under 21 if you can still get it. Not sure what's out there right now. I take it under 20.5 if it's available as well. And make sure at halftime you jump back over to the Dudes YouTube channel or check us out on Twitter for the Slim and Samo Betapalooza. Get out my best bets for each week. One bet. We are 4-0 with those. We give out a best bet for the second half. We were 3-1 with those. You're 7-1 if you just tail the best bet and the second half bet. Not too bad. Slim gives away his top 2 props as well. So that'll be happening there for the Sunday games. So make sure you come and check us out at halftime of the game tonight between the Colts and the Broncos.
And then, of course, every Wednesday through Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, except for 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturdays. Dudes Who Bet Daily right here, giving out our best bets for horse racing, CFL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and beyond. Until next time, I'm Magic.
And I'm Mike.
Good luck this week, everybody.
The Magic Mike Show, where you hear the experts speak. The Magic Mike Show. Tune into the show every week. The Magic Mike Show. You can trust the show is the bomb because it's being brought to you by RacingDudes.com.
Log in! Now look, before either of us does something we'll both regret.